But for right now, we're going to take a little bit of a closer look at the battle against HIV/AIDS. As we mentioned to you just a short while ago, a recently released United Nations report says that the world is indeed losing the war against HIV/AIDS, yet there are people at the grassroots who are showing a little bit of commitment to battling the disease. Many, like those at South Africa's Topsy Foundation, are rallying the community to meet the challenges that are being posed by this epidemic. Our Charlene Hunter-Gold has more details on that.
This is how it's supposed to be. Young people enjoying themselves, learning new things. But this is rare, especially in South Africa's poor communities, where the biggest thing many young people are learning is about the devastation of HIV/AIDS. The poorest, and the majority of the poor, live in rural areas like this one, remote, isolated, all but forgotten. With one of the highest HIV/AIDS infection rates in a country where 1 in 10 is HIV positive, all are affected one way or another by HIV/AIDS.
This place is called Siatemba, the Zulu word for City of Hope. But with no industry, no jobs, no money, and a lot of sick people, hope hasn't been here in a long time.
This medical team is on a visit to a woman too sick and too poor to leave her home. Her fears exacerbated by the fact that if she leaves, there'll be no one to take care of her 13-year-old daughter, now effectively taking care of herself and her ailing mother. Not diagnosed, but with many AIDS symptoms. The team is part of the Topsy Foundation, a 4-year-old organization with an approach to the AIDS pandemic it calls holistic.
It's in-house care, it's community outreach programs, and it's also skills development initiatives. You can't just address one issue of HIV/AIDS because it's all-encompassing.
In this and surrounding townships, Topsy is caring for more than 3,500 people. Some 20 minutes away from Siatemba, on the site of an abandoned mining village, the Topsy Foundation is creating a new community it hopes will help places like Siatemba overcome its poverty and cope with AIDS, which affects everyone in and beyond the community.
We make the distinction between infected and affected people. We're all affected.
Like this infant known as Gift, recently found abandoned in a field. Gift's HIV status isn't known yet, but he is likely to be one of the tens of thousands of children orphaned by AIDS, estimated to reach upwards of 4 million by 2010. At its children's sanctuary, Topsy takes care of about 40 orphans they identified before their parents died from AIDS complications, and 80 others from the community, providing them with food, clothing, and medical treatment. The aim is to place children in foster homes back in the community, with residential care a last resort. Strengthening the community through job training is another facet of the Topsy approach. A studio offering artistic skills training produces tableware and decorative items sold on the commercial market. Women making beaded AIDS badges are also able to sell their wares through Topsy or on their own. 46-year-old Selena Matlong recently lost 2 brothers to AIDS, one leaving behind 3 small children.
Yes, I like it because it's money. The only thing that I need is money.
In a community where children often scratch for food or starve, Topsy makes gardening mandatory for those in its home-based care and community outreach programs. The foundation provides startup seeds and tools. Their doctor says good nutrition is especially important to HIV/AIDS and TB sufferers, at least 50% of whom have HIV. With imagination and dreams bigger than their budget, Topsy Foundation officials say their main gift to the people they serve, especially those infected with HIV, is hope.
It can keep them alive for another year or 2 or 3, then antiretrovirals might be available. So if hope can keep somebody alive, then they can live because of treatment.
Meanwhile, unlike Topsy, the mythical orphan from Harriet Beecher Stowe's classic Uncle Tom's Cabin, after whom the foundation is named, the Topsy Foundation didn't just grow. It grew and is growing from experience with and in the community it hopes to change. Charlene Hunter-Gold, CNN, Southern Mpumalanga, South Africa.